Hello and welcome to My Retired Life. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the pitfalls that you could fall into as soon as you retire. In the first 6 months, you'll notice them very vividly if you don't have a plan. Got to have a plan. You got to have a plan, man. When you retire, whether it's voluntarily or forced or whichever way you go, once you retire, you've got to have a plan. What are you going to do with your time? Are you going to volunteer? Are you going to do hobbies? Or are you just going to sit down in the couch and do nothing? You got to do things. You don't want to just sit there and leave it with your thoughts. You've got to do things. It's the very first thing. If you retire and don't look after your health, your years are numbered. And I was guilty of that. But since my first couple videos, I've lost 12 pounds over the summer. So I'm doing my part with exercise and getting out and doing all this stuff. You should too. Take care of your health. Eat healthy. Yes, it's okay to have a piece of cake once in a while or an ice cream. Just not every day, after every meal. And don't sit at the end of the day and just stuff your face with Cheetos or potato chips. Just don't do it. Every once in a while, have a piece of cake or more, and ice cream. I love ice cream, always have. But I don't eat it all the time now. And then when I do eat it, it's great. You enjoy it that much more. Another harsh truth, you will be spending more time with your significant other. So that's totally new. You've been working 8 hours a day or 12 hours a day or shift work or whatever it was. Your wife's been working or looking after the kids or raising the kids. The kids are gone. The wife's at home now because she's retired, and there's just you and the wife. You got to go and think way back when it was just you two when you started out. Your relationships are going to change. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good, but you make it good. Don't give up because you're together. Just remember what you did a long time ago that brought you together, right? That brought you together, the loving, the caring, and everything else. Another hard truth is kind of related to the first point, underestimating the routine, right? No plan, no structure. You got to have a routine, whether it's going to bed at the same time and getting up at the same time and then starting your day the same way. You're going to have a coffee, or you're going to get up, get dressed, go for a walk, come back, have your breakfast, or whatever the case may be. You set your routine. So it's not a big deal, but you have to set a routine. You have to get into some kind of structure, or again, you're just going to waste away. Another harsh truth, when you retire, you've got all those honey-do lists or projects that you want to complete. They don't have to be completed in one weekend. Pace yourself. What you find is you rush and then you do a half-assed job just to get the other ones done. Can't do that. Take your time. If you've got a whole list of things that you want to do, and it's good to have a list, and it's good to have things to do because you want to be able to do something. Just complete one task or project and then move on to the next one. Another harsh truth is, in the first 6 months, you will lose friends. You won't lose them, you'll lose touch with them. Socializing after you've retired in the first 6 months is a game changer with your social activities. Because at work, you'd have coffee with the boys or girls, or you'd go out for lunch while you're still at the office, or go to the lunchroom and talk, whether it's sports or whatever's in the news or whatever you want to talk about. You lose that. Now it's lunchtime and you're at home and it's just you and your wife. So try to keep those connections, because in the first 6 months, that's one of the first things you'll notice, that the social connections are gone. And Facebook is staying in touch, but it's not staying in touch. You lose your social skills, right? You can type something, I'll edit it and say something a little differently. When you're face to face with somebody, you can't edit what you say. Sometimes you wish you could, but you're not being able to do that. You really have to keep that social connection, but you will notice in the first 6 months, you'll lose that social connection. Another harsh truth is unexpected circumstances. Everybody, when you retire, you think everything's going to be bliss and wonderful. But life still goes on. The roof still gets hit by lightning or has a fire and it needs to be repaired. There's stress is still out there. Like, you still have unexpected sequences. I'm going to retire. I'm going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. It's not fantastic. You still have family relations that might be skewed. You might have health issues. There's all kinds of unexpected expectations that aren't blissful, but you've got to fight through them. You might have slipped and broke your hip. Now and it takes you a year to recover. There's unexpected things always coming at you, just like in real life. It's just a little bit slower, granted, but it still comes at you, and there's still stresses, and you have to learn to cope with those things so that you don't overload yourself with stress. And we'll finish with this one. One of the things that you'll notice in the first 6 months is you're making all the decisions now. You're in control of your life, your freedom, your excess of freedom. You control everything. You could have too much freedom and spend all your money right away, and then you might have to go back to work. Or you decide, okay, I have to do this. You're not, for 8 hours before, you were under the boss's rule, unless you were the business owner. But you basically had a job to do, and if the boss said, I want you to balance these books and do an audit on them, if you're an accountant, by next week. So the decision's been made for you what you have to do. When you retire, you don't have that. You are the decision maker. Like it or not, the decisions you make influence how you retire, right? It has to. If I'm going to sit down and watch videos all day or play video games or watch TV, my retirement's going to be isolated to a couch. But if I decide that Monday, Wednesday, Friday I'm golfing, Tuesdays I'm going for coffee, Thursday's date night, and in between those times you have projects you can do around the house or, help people, volunteer. You're the one that's making the decisions, so you have to be in control of your life. Nobody else is going to tell you what to do or how to do it. That's your job. And you're making those decisions, life-changing decisions. Before, the manager was telling you to balance those books, he was making the decisions for you and what you have to do. Now it's all you. So those are some of the harsh realities when you retire in the first 6 months that you have to deal with. And with that, you can check out this video or that video. Please do. And subscribe and all that other good stuff. But enjoy the day, and let's call this one